Max Verstappen's first competitive outing in GT3 machinery was anything but a gentle shakedown. The four-time Formula One world champion headed to Germany's legendary Nürburgring Nordschleife to make his debut in the GT3 category, driving a Ferrari 296 GT3 entered by Emil Frey Racing under the banner of his own Verstappen.com racing team. Having recently earned the special Nordschleife racing license required for GT3 competition, Verstappen was cleared to take on one of the most demanding circuits in world motorsport. In a damp and misty qualifying session, he put the scarlet number 31 Ferrari third on the grid, impressive enough given that this was his first official competitive run in the car. When the 4-hour race began, Verstappen seemingly immediately looked at home. Taking the rolling start, he surged into the lead within the opening lap. Over the course of 2 hours behind the wheel, he extended that lead to over a minute, displaying both consistency and the kind of metronomic speed that has defined his Formula One career. After 2 stints, he handed over to his 22-year-old teammate Chris Lullum for the final half of the race. Despite multiple yellow flags and Code 60 slow zones compressing the field, the Ferrari crossed the line still more than 20 seconds clear of its nearest rival, the number 6 Ford Mustang driven by Nürburgring specialist Frank Stippler. It's worth noting that some of GT3's absolute frontline teams were racing in the World Endurance Championship's Fuji round that weekend, so Verstappen wasn't facing the full might of the international GT paddock. But for a debut outing, it was an emphatic victory, and it immediately rekindled memories of a bygone era when the greatest drivers would happily cross disciplines just for the love of racing. But beyond the headline win lies a deeper, more fascinating story. For a driver used to the ultimate single-seater racing machine, what does it really feel like to step into a car conceived from a road-going supercar platform and tuned for endurance rather than outright lap time? The answer reveals just how different the worlds of Formula One and GT3 really are. An F1 car is pure racing DNA. Its carbon fiber monocoque and complex suspension yield a minimum weight of around 798 kilograms, including the driver. By contrast, the Ferrari 296 GT3 weighs roughly 1,250 kilograms, even after every unnecessary gram has been shaved away. That extra mass influences everything, from acceleration off a slow corner to the way the car changes direction and how much punishment the brakes can absorb. Power delivery marks another fundamental divide. Verstappen's current Red Bull RB21 produces close to 1,000 horsepower from a 1.6-litre turbo-hybrid V6 with electric energy deployment. The GT3 Ferrari's 3.0-litre twin-turbo V6 is pegged by balance of performance rules to roughly 600 horsepower. For someone accustomed to the instantaneous shove of an F1 power unit revving past 12,000 revolutions per minute, the GT3 car's broader, more progressive torque curve requires an almost completely different throttle discipline. Then there's aerodynamics, the invisible force that defines modern Formula One. At high speed, an F1 car generates well over 4,000 kilograms of downforce, more than 5 times its own weight. This suction effect allows cornering forces of 4 to 6 G and braking that can shed 300 kilometers per h in less than 100 meters. GT3 cars carry rear wings, diffusers and front splitters, but their downforce is closer to 1,000 kilograms at top speed, only a fraction of what Verstappen is used to. On the Nordschleife's long, cambered corners, that meant leaning far more on mechanical grip and tire management rather than the vacuum-like stability of an F1 machine. Formula One slicks are high-strung instruments. They heat to well above 100 degrees Celsius within a lap, provide extreme grip for a limited window, and transmit razor-sharp feedback through the steering wheel. GT3 tires are engineered for longevity and consistency, operating across a broader temperature range and lasting much longer. Braking systems follow the same pattern. F1 uses carbon discs that bite hard enough to generate deceleration forces above 5G. GT3 cars with steel or carbon ceramic setups must brake earlier and trail the pedal more gently to avoid lockups, especially in the Nordschleife's downhill braking zones. Chassis architecture defines how a car communicates with the driver. Formula One cars are open-wheel, with minimal unsprung mass and suspension geometry optimized for lightning-fast response. GT3 cars retain structural DNA from their road-going relatives, with higher ride heights and more body roll. Where Verstappen can flick his Red Bull into an apex with micro-adjustments of the steering, the Ferrari GT3 demanded slower, more deliberate inputs, encouraging a flowing, endurance-friendly style. Inside the cockpit, the differences continue. An F1 steering wheel bristles with dozens of rotary switches and buttons controlling hybrid deployment, differential settings, brake balance, and even clutch bite points. GT3 cockpits are far simpler. Traction control and ABS can be tweaked, but the mental load is more about sustaining rhythm over multi-hour stints and co-managing the car with teammates. Instead of executing a string of qualifying laps, Verstappen had to think about fuel economy, traffic management, and preserving the car for Lolham's closing stints. Formula One Grands Prix, for all their complexity, are effectively one long sprint carefully modelled on simulation data. GT3 racing is a marathon where patience and adaptability win. Drivers share the car, so mechanical sympathy is crucial. Strategy must absorb weather changes, code 60 slow zones, and even night driving if the race extends into darkness. Verstappen's double stint, building a cushion rather than chasing ultimate lap times, showed how quickly he grasped those different demands. The sensory environment is transformed as well. F1's turbo-hybrid shriek and violent airflow are replaced by the deeper growl and lower frequency vibrations of a GT3 power plant. Closed cockpits mean less helmet buffeting, but more heat and a different soundscape, forcing the driver to rely more on what they feel through the seat and steering rack than on high-pitched audio cues. For some, Verstappen's GT3 victory was more than a random exhibition. It was a live demonstration that one of the world's best single-seater drivers is willing to relearn and adapt, a trait shared by legends like Jim Clark and Mario Andretti, who once treated multiple disciplines as essential parts of their craft. It also highlighted how each branch of motorsport advances different technologies. F1, especially with their upcoming 2026 regulations, continues to push energy recovery and active aerodynamic science to their limits. GT3 focuses on endurance reliability and the translation of supercar engineering to the racetrack. By straddling both, Verstappen shows how diverse the skill set is needed in drivers. And perhaps that's the real hook for the future. The 2025 Nürburgring 24 Hours, where Verstappen has hinted he will compete, will place him against the very best GT specialists over a full day and night. That event will be the true crucible, a test not of raw speed but of mechanical sympathy, concentration and adaptability. To close off, Max Verstappen's GT3 debut was therefore more than a runaway win. It was a rare experiment in crossing motorsport's biggest philosophical divide between the ultra-light, ultra-fast world of Formula One machinery and the production-based endurance battleground of GT3. For me, Formula Breakdown Motorsport, it provides the perfect lens to explore how two racing worlds can be so different and yet demand the same ultimate quality. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more similar content.